Hello, my name is Laura McClure, and I am the Mountmaker at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C. I love my job. Our museum collects artifacts of all kinds, from gowns to locomotives, to preserve the American people an enduring record of their past. We have more than 1.7 million objects and 22,000 linear feet of archival documents in our collection. Today, I'm going to be talking about a kind of object we use all the time in our exhibitions, buttons. Welcome to Buttons and Magnets, a Mountmaker's Journey. I'd like to dedicate this talk to Michael Faraday. In 1831, he discovered that when you change a magnet field, you can create an electric current. He knew magnets were cool. At the National Museum of American History, we exhibit many buttons. Button, button. Who's got the button? We do. We have all the buttons. Over the years, we've tried a number of methods for pin mounts. Velcro and blue board, acrylic L-pins, brass L-pins, brass armatures, steel pins, pinning the pin directly onto fabric. We have several galleries that rotate every year, so I'm looking for ways to streamline mounts for object types that we use frequently. We needed a mount solution that addresses the following. 1. Flexibility. Allows designers and curators the freedom to easily move buttons to whatever configuration they desire. 2. One fix for them all. Can be used for most pins without damaging the artifact. 3. Mass production. Enables assembly line production of mounts. 4. Design. Button will sit slightly proud of the substrate. Buttons can sometimes get lost when used around text and/or graphics. So how do we emphasize them? Research. My first stop was our amazing conservation department at NMAH. We discussed possible ideas, risks, and materials, and created a tentative game plan. 2. Gwen Spicer! I emailed Gwen and asked her about what type of magnet would be best for this use. I used the following materials for these mounts. Polytex poly webbing. It's strong, it's inert, it's easy to cut with scissors. A hot glue gun. It's inert, it's clear, it's fun. It's okay to use hot glue with ceramic magnets. Ceramic ferrite disc magnets. A weaker type of magnet to reduce some of the magnetic field exposed to the button. Steel sign blank. A must for this project because the magnets need a place to stick while you are assembling them. Baby belt sander. Hot glue is great because it's inert, but it's easy for it to be uneven. A belt sander helps flatten any uneven spots. Also, a Sharpie. Everyone loves a Sharpie. Assembly. 1. Use a template to cut out poly webbing. My template is about 40 millimeters by 12 millimeters to accommodate my particular magnets. 2. Mark magnets to show which is the north or negative side. This is the time to use that steel sign blank to lay out a bunch of magnets. 3. Place a dot of hot glue on the magnet and attach poly webbing. Quickly squish the magnet down evenly on the sign blank and poly webbing. The first image on the left is the squished down magnet and poly webbing. Step 4, repeat with the second magnet on the other end of the webbing. 5, add a second small piece of webbing to the first magnet on the top. Step 6, trim the webbing. It doesn't have to be perfect, just remove a little bit of the excess. Step 7, place the mount on your pin with the small piece of webbing against the pin. Step 8, place the magnets together so they can get to know each other. Step 9, check to see if the whole thing sits flat. If not, use your belt sander to gently flatten. This one is perfecto. Step 10, bask in the glory knowing you did it. Good job! Here are some images of the button mounts in action. Everyone is happy. During install, you can have all the buttons and magnet mounts on sign blank ready to go, and the designers and curators can take their time placing for optimal awesomeness. You are free to move to another part of the gallery and install plate mounts. Thank you for listening and watching my talk. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Also, a huge thank you to Veronica Mercado, who made the vast majority of the first batch of these mounts. She is a rock star. Also, Janice Ellis, our senior paper conservator at American History, who always believes it can be done.
Oh, mighty fine. Way to go, Laura. The magnets are so cool. So now, are there any questions for Laura, or can she just talk about her cats? I'll let Sam decide that.
Hey, Laura, that was fabulous.
Hi,
Sam. I loved it. And I love that you love your job, and I love it too. Such a great solution. And of course, we want to hear about your cats, but let's talk about the project first.
Down to business.
I'd like to know what your favourite button was. Seeing there were so many buttons, was there a favourite, or were there multiples?
There have been so many buttons, and actually buttons are really fun to work with. We had some really fun buttons that we worked with our Stonewall exhibit that went up last year, or maybe it was the year before. Time has no meaning. But there were some really great buttons for that. And one of the buttons I used on my slide was the Christopher Street button, and that one was a great button. But we have so many buttons. They're a great object because they're small and they say so much, and they talk, it's like material culture and all the things. I'm not a curator, but I like to mount buttons.
Yeah, no, they're super cool. They're very poignant, aren't they, for a point in history?
Yeah.
I love what they say. So Steve's got a question which says, how easy is it to separate the magnets and remove the object?
Oh, it's super duper easy. Because I'm using the ceramic magnets, there's very little pull and push on it. So it's very easy. And you just kind of open up the back of the button, and then you just slide the mount right in, and then it's super easy, and it's totally reversible. I mean, nothing is attached to the button itself.
Thank you. Julian's got a question that says, did this require all the graphics to be printed on a steel sign blank? At what point in the process was this decision made?
So that's a great question. We did use steel sign blank, but we printed all of the labels on vinyl, and I work in the production shop of my museum. And so early on in the process, I told everyone, I want to try to use magnets for this, y'all. And so we switched from aluminum to steel sign blank. Which steel is a little bit trickier to work with for sign blank, but our cabinet shop is amazing, and they try to help me every time they can because I need a lot of help.
The next question is from Mary, and Mary says, what size is a baby belt sander and what's the brand?
Oh, I love my baby belt sander so much. So I wish I had, it's in my mount shop. It's probably this big. It's pretty small. I got that one from Rio Grande, which is a jewelry maker, but it's now available on Auto Fray, which I think is also a jewelry maker supply. It's wonderful. And you hook it up to your Fordham Flex Shaft Dremel, and it just goes and goes and goes. It's super easy to change the belts on it. You can get different grits. I have one right next to on my workbench, and I do a lot of fine detail work with that. And then I have my big belt sander for like taking off a lot of material. But this is great. It's great for pin mounts. It's great for the magnets. It's super handy. And it's tiny and little and adorable.
Awesome. We'll need to see a photo of it sometime. You'll need to post one, hey?
I love it.
I'm really interested in how you did that problem solving when you were talking about, your focus around flexibility and mass production. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that thinking and why that was necessary?
Yes. So we do a lot of rotations in our museum. And so I wanted to have the flexibility to be able to move out and move in new buttons, and also the flexibility to be able to just let our designers have free reign. And so it's really nice because the designers and the curators can sit down and just kind of play around with the buttons, and it's so easy to just move them around. And that way I can also reuse those mounts when they come off of display. So it's a twofer, and everyone wins and everyone's happy.
Yeah, no, it's a brilliant solution. So that's all the questions, Laura. Thank you so much. Do you want to quickly talk about your cats?
Sure. They were here earlier, but they left because they've seen the presentation several times in Greece.
Thank you so much. And I'll hand back over to Jamie. Bye.
Okay, yeah, you've got smart cats there. Thank you, Laura. Oh my God, that was just so cool. Really enjoyed that.